I think it's kind of unfortunate that a lot of businesses don't grow past that $1 million mark, because the reason why a lot of people go into business is financial freedom, being able to call the shot, all of these great things. And I just don't think you can do that until you really grow past that $1 million mark. In this video, we're going to talk about what I feel is the single most important change you can make in your business, but then also something that really impacts you and everything that you do, over the long run. I'm Stephen Taylor. This is WeeklyST. For the last 10 years, I've been building a couple $1 million cybersecurity IT support company here in Chicagoland, and I'm fascinated with living a wholly successful life. Please like, share, and subscribe every single week. I was talking with a new vendor of ours, and he knows he was referencing one, but there's all kinds of places like this, right? He's known these guys for the last few years, maybe 4 or 5, right? And they've kind of been stuck at $1 million, right? He kind of posed the question to me, like, why is it that they haven't grown past it? And I have a lot of hypothesis, but there's also a lot of data to kind of support this, right? I think oftentimes it's the engineering mindset and not being able to get out of your own way, right? In our industry especially, right? We're the engineer that grew up doing computer support, we started a business, right? And as our business grows, it is really hard to relinquish that control of doing the day-to-day, being the engineer, being the technician, right? Because it's what you're good at, because it's what you're comfortable with, right? But for me, in our business, right, after the first 3 or 4 years, I hired the right-hand man who was going to be ops, who was going to be in charge of the technical, right? And I was then able to fire myself from that role, get out of it, and go learn other things and go be better at other things. I might comment on what we do from a technical perspective, but for the last 5+ years, I have not touched the keyboard, so to speak, to do the technical work. And that has been the single most important factor in driving our business growth, because I am then focused on sales, right? And we've been able to triple our business because of that single biggest change. We keep using this example, but it's these iterations of what does the business need? When you're at the start and you're the one man, the business needs everything, and that everything is you, right? You're going to wear all the hats. As you start to build out a team, then you can push off some more of that technical role type stuff, and then you could focus your time on what the business needs now is growth. It's always going to need growth, right? But especially at that, right, to get past the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 employee thing, growth, right? Even for us now at 18, right, we still need to continue growing, and then that becomes my single focus. And that kind of will always be a thing. Good small businesses are led not necessarily with sales teams, but by an owner who's focused on sales. People want to do business with you. Not necessarily your company, it's you, and you as the owner is going to be the best salesperson there is. So yeah, I think it's just these iterations, but you've got to get out of your own way. And vast majority of IT shops have been in business for 10+ years. Vast majority of IT shops are $1 million, maybe sub $1 million, right? Average age of the average IT business owner is 40 something, right? And they've been doing it for a while, and they're not really making any money. And at that revenue size, it's probably really hard to design your work-life balance and do the things that you want to do, because you have a team of maybe 5 or 8, and that still is going to require a lot of work from you as the owner. To each their own, and however they want to design their business and what they want to get out of it. But I fear that what they want and what they're able to do does not line up, and they've got to really break past that $1 million mark. And oftentimes, I think it's because they're in their own way. The classic delegation issue, right, is that, I'm nervous, I can't trust anybody to get this right, or they're going to mess it up, and I can't have that. You will never be able to successfully delegate and get yourself out of the day-to-day and get yourself out of the minutia and the to-do lists if you can't learn to delegate. And the easiest way to delegate, and the reason I was so good at it, or feel I am so good at it, is because I didn't want to do that minutia. I didn't want to deal with it. And I got 100% comfortable with somebody else doing it at least to 80% and potentially f***ing it up, right? We'll course correct it. They'll learn from it, and it'll be better next time on, right? But there's going to be that point where, yeah, I could do it better and probably faster, but I don't want to do this anymore. It doesn't serve us and it doesn't serve the business. Let me give this to somebody else expect 80%, expect it's going to take longer, expect I'm going to have to continue to hone and train them. And at some point they may make a mistake, but I'm okay with that because in the long run, now I don't have to do that. They're doing it better than I am and it's taken care of. Then it scales out to a team of people doing that support work, that operations work, that billing work, that payroll work, whatever it might be. One of the other things that I've learned, right, be encouraging, be helpful to your team, right? Even if it is that 80 or 90%, give them the attaboy. Say, hey, great job. And don't course correct them. Let it ride. Let them learn their own style and their own way, right? I always tell people, I just care about the result. Here's the results I'm looking for. I don't care how you get there, right? And I have to kind of keep myself in check to not go back and nitpick or not make the subtle changes, right? Or just kind of let it ride a little bit. Like, well, hell, you talked about it. You're like, I did this one for the intro. I might have had some different opinion and changed it, but I'm like, no, let it ride. Let them create it and own it, right? Because then they feel better about it too. And then you're there to give them the attaboy, the pat on the back, and they go, wow, I really feel appreciated here. This is a great place to be. And I feel like I'm in charge of something, right? That's way better than I can just do it myself and I can do it faster and they'll probably fuck it up. Yes, this is my baby, but these are also my kids, right? And so let's let them grow their wings and fly away and all that kind of stuff, right? And in a lot of this stuff, right? I have a vision and I have a dream for where we're going to go, but I also let them become a part of writing that story and how we're going to get there and how, they're smarter than I am on the technical side, right? I quit that part. I fired myself from that, right? Let them run with it. Let them design it, right? Let them be good. Let them showcase their talents. Sure, I'm still in control. I still have oversight into everything, but I've also tried to pull out of a lot of things too. I laugh because we have hired people I never met. I didn't even know they were, I show up in the office and I'm like, you're new here. Hi, nice to meet you, right? And it's funny, but it's also cool and exciting, right? And again, I like, if there's technical talent that we need, go out, find them and hire them. Here's my dream, here's my vision, here's our values, right? But go do it, go execute, make it happen, right? And how cool is that? Like, we're growing and it has nothing to do with me. Selling your business is the easy way out. Don't be a quitter. 90% of the time, that's why somebody says, I'm gonna sell it, or they look at selling, or they're at the end of their fucking rope and they're tired of it, they're bored, they're complacent, they're like all of that shit. 90% of the time, it's them giving up. Like, you can tell me it's a different thing. You can tell me your reasons why and everything else, but the reality is you're giving up because there's not any one excuse that you can bring to me that doesn't boil down to you're giving up. Well, I wanted to sunset and spend more time with my family and blah, blah, blah. Why didn't you build a business in the first place that you had good work-life balance so that you could do that, right? Well, I want to sell it so I can make money and then I can get my check and I'm able to. Why didn't you run your business profitably enough where you could take home a good salary and take care of your family for the last 10 years instead of waiting till the end to sell it and get a big check? I don't want to work as hard. Get the right people on the right team so that you can, again, design your life. You only want to work 2 hours a week, go ahead and do it, right? And you can keep that business growing and going, right? Because here's why I get so passionate about this. When someone sells their business, more than likely what's going to happen? They're going to get the fat cash and get paid, and everything else is probably going to suffer because we have to justify and get return on investment for that money. And what does that classically mean, right? Raise prices for customers or cut back on services, cut expenses, right? And cut salary and cut team, right? And then hobble it all together and bolt it onto something else, again, doing the same kinds of things, which again is not good for employees. It's not good for, the greater good and things like that. You, however, have complete control over that business. You can run it however you see fit and you could do good for your team, your clients, and the world. At a certain point, I'm going to be old, right? And it's not going to be who of me. I'm not the best at what the business needs, right? So yeah, can you groom a CEO role and then you're on the board? Can you groom a right-hand person to really take care of the day-to-day and the everything and you really just handle oversight, right? But the point is, it can be designed in any such a fashion. But in my opinion, I don't see a lot of end game sell the business results that end up with as much good impact and good community and good team, right? I think it's the selfish sellout, I'm quitting plan B. what I've also learned in the last 10 years, and it's kind of funny, right? There's all these different challenges in business. There's all these different challenges in life, all this stuff, right? And we can read the self-help books and we can read the productivity books and all of these different things. And I think everyone's always looking for what's that one thing? What's that one answer? Sales and marketing. What do I need to do? Blah, 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 blah. Funny story. It all boils down to you. If you're having an issue, if there's a problem, if there's a challenge, if you're not happy, if a team member isn't doing what they're supposed to, if you're not growing, if your expenses are off, anything, right? And it could be in work and it could be in your life. If you boil it down, if you really look at it, the problem is you. Who do you need to become? Who do you need to change into? How do you need to show up? What do you need to be doing differently to get that issue or that challenge or whatever that might be solved, right? And so then that leads me to the really big thing that everybody needs to work on in business and in life, you, right? Grow. How are you growing? How are you, stretching yourself? How are you changing? How are you getting rid of the issues that you have or the challenges or overcoming the fears or whatever it might be? And how are you leveling up in life and in work and in everything that you're doing so that you can better show up and get better at what you're doing, right? And it goes to the sell your business thing, right? We get complacent, we get bored, right? It's not growing, it's not working. I want to do something differently. Then grow your way out of it. Fix it. Overcome what is the fear that you have, right? Are you fearful that you're going to ruin it? Well, that's just your brain lying to you, telling you it's gonna implode and it's gonna be all your fault. Well, then likely that's not gonna happen. But you're gonna have to overcome some fears. You're gonna have to grow through some things to get to where you want to be.